midway through last century. So there
that he'd been grooming since she was 14. There was a letter circulated and signed by dozens of Labour MPs against his deportation. Keir Starmer was one of those signatories.
Yes.
This is bunged up.
Exactly. And what did we see? By the way, I
actually genuinely believe more of these kind of socially conservative things than other people around him. I don't feel the same way about Ed Miliband and Yvette Cooper necessarily as you do.
Completely incompetent.
Labour's virtue signaling just got buried under a tidal wave of brutal facts. And no, we're not letting them claim asylum doesn't mean we're stopping them from entering. You won't believe how deep this hypocrisy runs. Labour just tried to score points with a last-minute asylum policy, but got obliterated in this heated panel. Stick around as we expose every lie. And don't forget to subscribe for more brutal political takedowns. The Spark? Labour's headline-grabbing announcement.
Who are put onto the sex offenders register will not be granted asylum in the UK, because we've had some shocking cases where that has happened, where they've been...
Sounds good, right? Except the panel wasn't buying it, not one bit. Because behind this flashy headline lies the same old problem. Nothing is actually stopping foreign sex offenders from entering Britain in the first place. Even more shocking, there's no confirmation this change will result in a single deportation. The ECHR, the European Convention on Human Rights, still lets them appeal. The announcement was made during election week. Coincidence? Not a chance. Here's Labour's grand statement.
To strengthen the asylum system to ensure that people who have committed sex offences, who are put onto the sex offenders register, will not be granted asylum in the UK, because we've had some shocking cases where that has happened, where they've been...
But Christys shredded it in seconds.
So we're changing the law on that as well.
Even their defenders sounded unsure. Zoe Grunald tried to defend the technical legality, yet even she admitted...
Allegedly, by saying these people don't have the right to remain in the UK. Well, why stop at sex offences? Why not stop? Why not go for people who commit terrorist offences?
Admitted Labour's position, a flimsy PR stunt designed for headlines, not real change. Then the gloves came off. Alex Armstrong didn't hold back.
Eritrea. Well, those nationalities are more than 20 times more likely to account for sexual offence convictions.
He dropped a bombshell about Labour's past.
Asylum seekers donating and asking for membership cards in what seems to be a bid to convince the Home Office that they are actually gay, so we can't deport them back home. Of course, that really is a con, isn't it? The point is this. Today's announcement...
Esther Kraku hammered the final nail.
Very best, isn't it? It's a lie. And guess what? It's an election week. Would anyone have guessed, hey? Would anyone have guessed that Labour are losing mass amounts of votes?
She ripped Labour's policy apart.
Starmer was one of those signatories.
Yes.
This is the shocking reality. Labour do not want to...
She didn't stop there.
Rules. They don't care.
Okay, so...
That's my opinion.
As to your views on this, I mean, again, it just feels like it's quite easy to pick apart that idea.
I mean, it's almost ludicrous.
Public frustration boiled over, as Alex pointed out.
Amnesty internationally, well, I won't name here now because he's not here to defend himself, but saying that
this is what British voters are furious about. Not just incompetence, deliberate deception, announce a fake fix and during election week, while the system still lets these criminals walk through the door. If you thought the first half was brutal, the facts revealed next completely collapse Labour's narrative. Patrick Christys hit it hard with the one stat that should stop the debate cold.
For nearly a quarter of all sex offences.
Let that sink in, but it gets worse.
Foreign nationals make up just 9.3% of the population for 23% of sex crimes.
Christys didn't just destroy Labour's fake policy, he dismantled the entire asylum system they keep defending.
Major asylum seeker hotspots are, of course, Afghanistan and Eritrea. Well, those nationalities are more than 20 times more likely to account for sexual...
And Esther dropped the truth bomb Labour fears the most.
I think that might be right, yeah. I'm not sure if that's the UK or the... But basically, there is actually precedent for this. I think the problem is that courts were not applying this and things were getting tied up, and there's two issues here.
It should be automatic. But they shouldn't have to apply for it. So actually, in British law, it's automatic. If you've served a 12-month sentence, you are automatic.
OK, so I think this is what Labour's trying to do now. I think
Labour's stance isn't just hollow, it's a betrayal. As the debate neared its end, the entire panel turned the heat up even more. Christys made it plain.
So that courts are operating in the UK on the assumption that this is what the law is. Yeah. And when they interpret the law, they're interpreting the British law. So I think it could make a difference. The problem is the legal system here is bunged up.
Zoe Grunald admitted what no Labour official will.
Open borders fanatic that you are basically willing to go into...
Alex didn't mince words.
I'll go to Alex for no.
I think it's so abundantly clear to the public that there is...
Then came the sledgehammer.
...by left-wing activists who have an agenda, have a pro-immigration agenda, and all the way they want it to. They are...
Mr. closed it with fury.
But if the law is saying, actually, if you've been convicted and sent to prison for automatic deportation, there is no...
Every single one of them agreed.
...on top of laws. So if you're a judge, what do you say? Is the ECHR more important? Am I going to get challenged now?
This panel didn't just expose labor. They exposed a political class more interested in PR than public safety. If you're sick of being lied to, if you want real answers, not slogans, subscribe now for more brutal breakdowns like this. We don't spin, we expose.